Mic'd up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a loser's night at Yankee Coast to Coast. Yeah, we're a little upset here. I didn't get to watch the game. I was trying to listen to it because I don't have Apple right now. So I decided to listen in, and I got a sense of it, but I was kind of going in and out. But it watching game day on MLB also. I saw what was happening, was unfolding in front of me. A very bad, another terrible Yankee loss in a season, in a I'd say a 2 month period of filled with them. What can we say? Nothing else. A lot of bad mistakes, it seems. Again, Mike's going to talk about the use of the bullpen again, or misuse, I should say. But this is really upsetting. I mean, it's getting hard to watch. I can't watch them anymore. Really can't. A lot of people have turned off to it. And at what point are we just going to start saying enough is enough and start thinking about new managers, new management, new team next year, and just stop worrying about it? What do you
Yeah,
think?
there's a lot to unpack, as they say, in this game. They've got a lot of things, and there's a long-term issue that they need to address as well. Because I was pulling some information. Did you know that in the last 6 games, the Yankees starting pitchers have not gone more than 5 innings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. They've not gone more than 5 innings.
I think it's worse than that. It's like over in a very long, extended period.
Well,
like
I stopped. I didn't count this. I didn't want to go back farther because then I would have run
It's
into
27 games in the last 32 that they haven't gone beyond 5.
Right. And that's, even with an improved bullpen, assuming it's improved, they're in a lot of trouble with regard to this because what's killing them is they're not throwing enough strikes. I give Fried a pass for his last couple of outings because he's been Fried for the whole season. But Schlittler and Warren, okay, they're rookies, so I can give them a little bit. But Rodon can't be throwing 100 pitches in 5 innings, or in the case of his start previous, 107 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. And that's going to come back to bite them on the butt all season. But let's get into tonight's game. All right. So Altuve hits a 2-run homer in the first inning. When is somebody going to drill him? I don't care at this point. In the first inning tomorrow, Keel's got to hit him in the hip.
Agreed. Hit him in the head. Because they'll throw him out, and then the Yankees will have to pay the price because the bullpen will have to.
You know what? At this point, it's worth it to me. They just got to hit him in the hip. I mean, and the other thing is on his double that he hit, he's a dead pull hitter. Why is McMahon so far from the line? He missed the ball, not by very much, but if he was a step and a half to his right, he would have had it. And it's just, I don't understand. So, I mean, there's a couple of things, that's coaching, analytics, and stuff like that. But let's talk about the end of the game here, okay? So Schlittler throws 100 pitches, 97 pitches in his 5 innings. I understand he's got to come out. He threw 66 strikes. So he's throwing 2/3 strikes, which is okay. Mm-hmm. He's not getting as much swing and miss as a guy who throws 98, 99 with a curveball should be getting. But at 5 innings, he had to come out. He battled his way through the 5 innings. He allowed 2 runs, gave them a
rookie.
chance.
The guy was throwing a double A.
Right, exactly. So he did fine. Then they brought in De Los Santos. Now, De Los Santos, they had to send him down after his last outing because he threw so many pitches. Well, guess what? He threw an inning and a 2/3, right? He allowed a hit on his last batter, but he threw an inning and 2/3 with 28 pitches. You got to leave him in the game. It was a right-handed hitter coming up. There was no reason to take him out at that point. Because once you take him out at that point, the accordion effect on your bullpen the rest of the way is terrible. And he's pitching effectively. So there's no reason to think, okay, he's not pitching effectively, blah, blah, blah. Let's get him out of there. He allowed 1 base runner. I mean, 1 base runner in the inning. Get him out of there. Why? So, okay, you got Duvall in. Duvall came in, got out of the inning, lickety-split, right? So it worked. But now Duvall's got an up-down, right, as they call it these days, or down and up. And he comes back out in the next inning, which is the 7th inning. and gets out of it really quick, like 8 pitches. So he threw a total of 13 pitches in an inning and a third.
Hard night, a lot of work.
All right, so even if you want to argue that De Los Santos had to come out, why does Duvall have to come out after 13 pitches? At least let him pitch for another batter or two so you can stretch your bullpen. Mm-hmm. Boone managed the game on, today's Friday, the game on Wednesday night, like his life depended on it, which it might have, even though people were telling me no. It came out from a lot of places that if they got swept in Texas, Boone was history. But he managed on Wednesday night with that sense of urgency he needed to manage. He let Bednar in there for his 37-pitch save, right? And he managed the game the way it needed to be managed. When you've got 3 or 4 trusting, and I'm not counting Williams, 3 or 4 trustworthy bullpen guys, or even 5 if you want to put De Los Santos in there with Hill, Duvall, Bednar, and Weaver, you can stretch out a guy and not have him the next day if it means you're going to have somebody else available. So Duvall should never have come out, and Duvall shouldn't have come in when he came in, but even if he did, he still threw 13 pitches. Bring him back out there and let him get to 20 pitches. At 20 pitches, he can come back the next day.
All right, I agree. And what I don't understand is, there's a perfect slot for Williams right now, and that slot is the 6th inning.
Not in a tie game. There was no slot for Williams today. There was not a slot for Williams today.
That's an opinion. I agree with you on that. But I'm saying if the mindset, if you're trying to understand what's going on in Boone Bag's mind, it's we want to get this guy right. We want to put him in some lower leverage moments so that bring him in the 6th inning when you're in a tie game, and then let him work his way out. Or
you bring him in in the 6th inning. You bring him in the 6th inning. You do to him what I think that they should be doing with Leiter and Bird, who are the same guy to me, is you bring him in the 6th inning when you're down a run or two, hoping he can keep you in the game. Yeah, you don't bring him in a tie game. Not right now. You can't, especially when you got all these guys available. So if Duvall pitches another batter or two, and Weaver comes in the middle of the inning, Weaver doesn't throw 19 pitches in the 8th inning or the 9th inning. He doesn't throw 19 pitches in the 9th inning. He throws less. And Weaver is available to continue in the 10th. Then the other part of this that is totally incomprehensible, even with all the other previous mistakes with regard to De Los Santos and Duvall and Weaver having to throw 19 pitches, if Boone says in the pregame that Bednar is available in a save situation, and you get to the 10th inning as the home team, what does that mean? There is no save situation. So what are you saving Bednar for if he was available? And why are you bringing in Williams? I know there was right-handed hitters up, so he didn't want to bring in Hill. But why Williams and not Bednar if he was available for a save situation? And then if it gets to the 11th inning, you're at the bottom of the order for the Astros in the 11th inning, although Trammell is the guy that hit the homer that really put the game out of reach. But you're at the bottom of the order. Okay, I've got nobody else left. Or I could have gone to Leiter at that point too. Or I could have, anybody but Williams, the way that Williams is pitching, had to be in that game at that point. If they would have gone to Leiter, I wouldn't have been happy because they still would have had Bednar on the bench. But Leiter would have been a better choice than Williams. And that's the bottom line, is Boone made a horrible decision here. He didn't manage the game in the bullpen like it was a sense of urgency, like they needed to win this game. Now, the Yankees blew this one because they didn't score. I mean, let's face facts. They didn't score runs. Brown overwhelmed them, even though they only struck out 5 guys. And Souza, they made him look like Sandy frickin' Koufax when he came in. And Abreu, Wells almost took him deep before he struck out. And then, Abreu got out of the inning, and then Hader went 2 innings. The only good thing about this is Goldschmidt took him, an 10 pitch at bat. We know Hader's not available tomorrow under any circumstances after throwing 36 pitches today. So the Yankees have to take 2 out of 3 in this series. And Boone gave away this game because you could have slammed them on this game potentially. And tomorrow, okay, maybe we get lucky. Heel pitches like Heel. Granted, he's against Framber Valdez. You're taking a chance. But if you take 2 out of 3 in this series, you're lined up with the schedule the way it is in the next week and a half. Because you've got Houston, Saturday and Sunday, obviously. But then you've got the Twins, the Twins for 3, at St. Louis for 3, Then you have a tough series against the Rays, which is only 2 games, a tough 4-game series against the Brewers, and then you come back with the Nationals and the White Sox for 6 games or 7 games. The White Sox series is a 4-game series. There's a stretch here for the Yankees to actually go on a mini run, then battle the Rays and the Red Sox, go on another run against the Nationals and the White Sox, and then come back against the Astros and the Blue Jays and the Tigers and get to the end of the season where they have a tough schedule until they run into Minnesota and Baltimore, which the Yankees finished with Minnesota, Baltimore, the White Sox, and Baltimore. The Yankees have a chance to actually do something. They have a chance. Right. It's all in front of them. But you got to play games that you have a chance to win with a sense of urgency. And Boone managed this game horrendously.
Useless. Terrible, all around. Again, overswinging, bad choices. I knew that we weren't going to get a hit at that moment. You felt bad.
Grisham had a good at bat. He had a good level. He ripped the ball to center field.
You felt bad, but you knew it wasn't going to happen. It's just that this season is not the season where those things happen. It's just one of those years where it just seems that everything they do, they never execute the plan.
No, they can't win close games. And the difference, managers, obviously you're going to have blowouts in either direction. Those are not manager games. But today's game, just like the game on Wednesday night, was a game where the manager needed to be and step up. Mm-hmm. And he needed to manage the game to give your team the best chance to win. He did it on Wednesday, and he didn't do it on Friday.
Doing it, Texas is a lot different than doing it against.
Yeah, but they're at home against the Houston. Come on, they're home.
They don't play. First of all, they're scared to death of Houston, and they suck against Houston. They have for 20 years. It's gotten out of control for 10 years. I'll say right now, this team has not been able to beat Houston in any situation other than maybe, if they're lucky, a couple seasons they've gotten ahead. That's it. Last year they had a good year.
Since 2009, Houston's gotten their number.
They're just terrible. So it's one of these things where this is. I don't think that they have any idea how to manage this team. I don't have any idea how to manage this against this team to beat them.
Well, there's a way to beat them, but the way to beat them is you got to manage like you want to win the game, and he did not do it. After he did it Wednesday and he saw that it worked, the disappointment to see him revert back and not do what was needed to be done. I mean, one of the things that you and I have been saying for weeks has been they're not playing with a sense of urgency. They're not playing with a sense of urgency. And Boone has been saying the players know it's urgent. They know it's time to go, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? It's not just the players that need to be ready to go. You need to be ready to go. You need to run the team the right way here. And this is now, I'm not saying that the Yankees would have won because clearly they didn't score any runs, although they did score a run in the 10th. The Yankees did not run their bullpen the way it needed to be run today. And, unless Blake is in there telling Boone that he can't be doing what I'm saying, there's absolutely no reason, none whatsoever, that Boone should have managed the bullpen the way he did. He needs to manage the games. I think it was one of the managers, Derek Shelton, was on MLB radio and he was interviewing Padres manager. What's that? Schulte? Is that his name? The guy who used to be in the Braves, Schulte. And he was saying, with regard to managing his bullpen, because he has a stud bullpen now too, he's like, I manage the game to win that game that's in front of me with an eye towards the next game or the game after that. But if I have a chance to win a game, I'm chasing down the Dodgers. I've got to win the game. Boone did not manage like he was chasing down the Blue Jays or even the Red Sox or at this point, the Rangers or who else is in front of them? They're in the third wild card right now. They're not Seattle. They're not chasing. They're not running the team like they're chasing somebody down. They're running a team as if we got this under control. As I like to say, they're very much
reactive,
and everything is okay. We're not worried about this. They're Kevin Bacon.
The problem that I have is, again, this is the mindset. I kind of wish, I long for the days of the division title only. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen to baseball. It's really undermined the
But the Yankees aren't even playing to win the wild card right now.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I think they feel that they can relatively easily by just playing a little bit better than they are now. They think they can do it, which is really not true. But my problem is that there's something about the way teams play now that it's first of all the way they trade or don't trade at the deadline. Everyone feels they're in it because technically there really are. Very few teams are
Yeah,
completely.
22 teams were within seven at the time. 22 teams were within 7 games.
Yeah, so they're within
which
striking
is
distance, and
which is
that hurts.
a seven's a little bit much, even though. But what they got to realize is they got to jump over 6 or 7 teams.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not a guarantee, but it's not enough to do an all out sell. And then what bothers me is just there's this mindset, and we talk about it, we argue about it on this show many times in the last few years about the mindset of get in there and get hot and win it. And
Right.
that's the thing that this team operates on that thinking in a way that is very scary and really flies in the face of everything that Steinbrenner was all about. Steinbrenner never cared about that stuff. You never heard Steinbrenner saying,
No,
the
he's
Yankees,
win.
Yankees get hot, will be okay. It's like, win every damn game you play. Don't worry about it. Don't say you can lose these 10 as long as you win those 20. That
Mariano
wasn't.
Duncan. We play today. We win today. Play like you want to win. So the Yankees now are in the third wild card, a half a game ahead of Cleveland, a game against Texas, 2
I
behind
think Cleveland's
Seattle,
a better team than
the
they are.
Red
I think
Sox.
Cleveland's a better team. The problem that Cleveland has, they lost Clase, but it's you know that's devastating. But I don't think that I think the Indians are going to play a better game. Or sorry, the Guardians play a
Don't
much
worry.
better game of baseball than the Yankees do. And that will serve them.
Oh,
Better all around game.
and as we've been saying, the long-term prognosis for this team is not good for next season. It just isn't. And they have to win these games. They have the game in front of them. It's not the season in front of them anymore. Now they have to look, they need to look with a much, much, much more narrow view. And it's horrible what they're doing is they're not looking to win the games that they can win. Now it doesn't help. It doesn't help them. This bullpen's going to get burned out too. So they're going to have to bring Bird back, and they're going to have to find other guys to bring back and bring up in order to do this.